Hello, guys. Good day. This is Anne of Reinforce Me Club, your fellow positive reinforcer. Today, we are going to talk about just the things that I've learned from this fantastic book, The One Thing, by Gary Keller with J. Papasan. The One Thing. So, this book actually targets mainly productivity, hyper focus, and living the life in your own terms. Targeting you know, targeting mainly your majors like your health, wealth, relationship, career without exhaustion. Now, why did I say without exhaustion? After I read this book, the question actually, it lingers inside my head. The one thing question actually states like this: what's the one thing I can do such that doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? Actually, that's a long question. I am going to rephrase it in my own way. So, my one thing question is, if it's going to be the end of the world tomorrow, 5 minutes from now, 3 minutes from now, if everything ends, what would I like to do? Is the thing that I'm doing right now is really the thing that I wanted to do? Is spending time with this person really worth it? Is this my choice of thing to do today? I mean, right now. So it's just, that's another way of saying that what's the one thing I can do that such doing it, everything will be unnecessary. What is your do or die choice to do right now? And why does this question matters? Why do we have to be really intentional about how we spend our time? Basically, this time it's already crisis. We have a lot of things to do, and it definitely overwhelms us. It's overwhelming to have a lot of things on our to-do list. But by merely applying this one thing, your one thing principle, you just have to do, it could be one, the most important thing to do today. It's like the approach is from micro and it impacts the macro aspects of your life. Like, for example, I personally do want to be healthy. So I'm going to ask myself, what's the one thing I can do today, right now, so I can be healthy? Well, for me, I would choose to do workout. Because if I work out, and then I find some delicious foods, and then it makes me think, rethink about my decision to eat a lot, to not minding my diet, because I did work out. And it's hard to work out and maintain my weight if I just wasted it all by merely just not giving importance to my effort of working out. So, working out under the health area, that's one of the major thing, my one thing that I must do so that I can look after the rest, aspects in terms of my diet, activities, stress. I look after my health by means of working out. And when I also work out, it helped me relieve from stress. So that's my one thing. And I don't have to think about balanced diet, high protein diet. I've already have that in mind because basically I work out, and of course I have to eat well and I have to mind my diet. Otherwise, if I don't mind my diet, it doesn't, my workout efforts wouldn't make sense at all. So that's my one thing. And that also it provides clarity on the goals when you only think about one thing. And when you do the most impactful activity of the day, that's you do it when you have high energy. Yeah, you are at the peak of your energy, like at 10 o'clock in the morning, or 11 o'clock in the morning, when you do the most important thing and you finally nailed it, there you go. You are definitely going to be satisfied. And then you just have to do your second or third thing, and that's it. But in the most part, you have to pick the highest invest use of your time, highest invest use activity. That is the one thing, your one thing, your major thing, your agenda of the day. Agenda, in terms of agenda, yeah, you have to know, before going to work, you have to know already, it's important to know already the things that you have to do, you have to accomplish at work before starting your work. You got to know your assignments, what has to be done even before starting your work. So that could be your projects, assignments, and your things that has been assigned to you to do by your boss. So your top one thing or top three things to do, and all else are necessary. It's easier for you to say no when you know to say no to other unimportant stuff when you know already your target. And in terms of productivity, hyper focus, this book also entails that productivity skyrockets when you focus on high impact activities. Now, I thought about the 80-20 principles, that when you do the 20% of your total activity, 80-20 principles, yeah, I'm going to explain it, first and foremost. 80-20 means that 20% of your, activities for the entire day has 80% impact on your life. Every day, every week, every month, every year. There's just only few things that you got to do that's going to impact your life overall. That could be 5%, 10%, 10-90, 5-95, but the book says it's 80-20. 80-20 because Wilfredo Pareto, it was an experiment, or it was a research before that. The research was held in Italy, in a certain town in Italy, that Pareto actually discovered that 20% of the people living in that town owns 80% of the wealth. And it's actually true in terms of in business, focusing on the major things, focusing on the major customers that can give a business with high returns, rather than minding the customers who have who have few orders and it usually gives out to you, eating up your time. So focus on those customers who have money, who wants to build relationship, and who has loads of order. Entertain them, and it's all right to fire the low value work. It could be low value customers. So yes, that's how it is. That's how business is business. Highest payoff task, and avoid low value work. That's what it is about. The 80-20 principle, hyper focus and productivity. And the book also says that it's actually, this book is totally anti-multitasking. So when you are focusing on just one thing, the most important thing to do for your day, you're going to have a deep work. You understand exactly what you are doing, and you have less probability of making mistakes, and that definitely leads to excellent results. And when you have deep work, you're doing just one thing at a time, you would definitely build momentum. And every time you nail down your goals, your things to do, you finish them on time, on or before your time, you're going to have a sense of achievement which fuels a motivation for your next steps. So that's the benefit of not multitasking. This book also emphasizes aligning your one thing with both personal and professional goals, which means one thing doesn't come at the expense of another. So if you want to be rich, you want to be wealthy, so you're basically targeting wealth, you want to earn more money. This book tells you not to sacrifice your health and your family relationships. So it's a kind of work-life balancing. Not balance, but balancing. So that's another story. And when you know exactly what you want, you know where to focus, it's actually less stressful. Rather than, trying to do everything that will only lead you to conflicting priorities, and then you're going to be all over the place, and at the end of the day you are exhausted. And when you are exhausted every day, for every month, up to a year, you're going to hate what you're doing. You're going to resent it anyway. So what's the use of doing it? So it's important to be intentional, to focus on where your heart is. And when you focus on the most important thing and you finish it, it also means that you have ample of free time. Free time for your hobbies, for your family, for your personal growth, and simply just looking after yourself. And in the most part, this book will tell you to align your life goals, to align everything you do to your life goals, to your health, wealth, relationship, career. It helps you really approach life in a holistic manner. So otherwise, upon reading this book, finishing it, it's already third time. Sometimes I actually miss this book. I love it. I love the thought of it. So sometimes I forgot and I miss it, and I reread the book again. So after reading this, what actually left me, what I got in mind right now is to start your day with your one thing. What is the most important thing that you got to do today at work and in your family, for yourself, in terms of your health, for your personal growth? Just one thing. Start your day with your one thing. And when you're doing your one thing, like at work, so your one thing is to finish your assignment at work, your project that has been given to you by your boss. So it's easier to say no, and you can just simply time block, like no disturb. Lock your office, put on your headphone. If you can't lock your office, it's easier to say no to everything else. Time block. And when you have deep work, you are deeply engaged to your project, to the thing that you're doing, you're making progress, you can even track your progress. And once again, the best part of this book is that, when you know what you want, when you know where you're going, when you know the target, it is easier to say no to those tasks, even people that are unimportant, that doesn't align to your goals. So this is about the one thing. So I hope I've shared a valuable lessons to you today. And if you ever love this episode, you can share this to your family and friends. You can follow me in YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and even in Amazon Music. Reinforce Me Club, by the way. This is Anne, your fellow positive reinforcer. I do appreciate your time and have a lovely day ahead. Thanks.